Apparently, Sean Payton opened his eyes when it comes to Pat Surtain II. Henry, today, Pat Surtain was back there returning punts. That's right. Last year, Dwayne Stukes completely laughed at the idea that Pat Surtain, a great cornerback, would be a punt returner for the Denver Broncos. Today, Sean Payton was coaching him up to potentially be a punt returner, and after practice, Sean Payton talked about it. That's why we can get into this detail about it, is because Sean talked about it, and Sean said that we need someone to step up if our starter goes down. So it sounds like they're not grooming Pat to be the starting punt returner, but potentially an emergency punt returner, a backup punt returner, maybe a big play punt returner if they need something at the very end of a game or something like that. Pat Surtain's done this in high school, and he said if Surtain is going to be, if Surtain's going to help us out, then we are going to use him. I think people are going to love this, that want to see a playmaker back there at punt returner. I think people are going to hate this, that don't want to see the Broncos' best player being used on special teams in a position that you got 11 guys flying at you.
Yeah, you definitely do. The Broncos never put Champ Bailey at punt returner. The Washington did 25 times, which is quite a few.
Yeah, in just the first few years of his career.
Yeah, and Champ, I guess they targeted him 4 times on offense. It felt like it was more.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't feel like it was a lot, but it felt like there was, like, a stretch where it was like, oh, there's Champ. Like,
yeah.
So that was interesting. So I don't mind it. Like, he is a playmaker. Like, it's obvious why you would want to get the ball in his hands. I'm curious. I mean, what Sean Payton said was they don't know what he could do at punt returner, and that's why you ask questions, is to get answers. So the question is, can he punt return? Let's figure it out. Let's put him back there and see what happens.
Let's figure it out when we're inside, when punts hit the top of the ceiling and you can't even catch them.
Especially Riley Dixon punts. It's crazy in there. Every time he kicks it, it's just like boom.
Yeah.
And it just like goes out. Broncos got a real punter. Also, I have Pat in my notes a different spot just because it was like between one of the drills and he just jumped. Like he just did like this, he just jumped up in the air. It was ridiculous.
Yep.
It was crazy. Like he was just, he probably could have dunked on like a 12-foot rim.
Yeah, I mean, Pat's a prototype size for a corner, really an athlete in general. He's got all the physical tools. He's got the mental tools. And so no wonder he's an elite cornerback. Jerry Jeudy said he's the best cornerback, defensive back, actually, that he's ever seen. It helps him going up against him every practice, every day. But there's no wonder why you'd be curious about him as a punt returner. Like, if he's this perfect athlete on a football field, why would you not put him back there occasionally? And that's where I'm at here. If he can do it, and I think Pat Surtain could probably do anything he wants on a football field, and he's have Sean Payton coaching him up one-on-one how to do this, if you see that he can do it better than anyone on your team, then in certain times when you need a big punt return, I would be willing to put Pat Surtain out there. Have you ever heard of a guy named Deion Sanders?
No.
Yeah, no one in this company has either. No one in Colorado has. But he was this good defensive back, kind of like Pat Surtain. Pretty good, I'd say. Who also returned punts.
Yep.
He was a Hall of Famer. If he can do it, why would you not explore the possibility of this? So I like that Sean's trying it on June 13th. Why not just see? And then if it's something that works out and he can do, you know what? If you're too afraid to play football, if you're too afraid to put your players in position to make plays, then why would you not be? Why wouldn't you be too afraid to put Pat Surtain out there at cornerback? Why aren't you just saving him for the fourth corner? You can't play scared. Now, you also don't play recklessly. I don't think you put him back there as a kick returner all the time, as a punt returner all the time. But if you think that he can do it extremely well and be that big play guy, then I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, it just depends on how good they think he can be.
Right.
You know,
and if he's average, I don't want him back there.
No,
because
definitely not.
Then the risk reward isn't worth it.
And if they think, we think if we put him back there all season, we'll get 2 or 3 touchdowns out of him, then put him back there every single time because he's the best returner in the game. That's unlikely, though. And it's just so tough to figure out what you have without putting him back there in a real game. That's the thing, though, is I don't know if you can learn much without a game.
I think you can. You know what type of athlete Pat Surtain is. So I think it's more so of can he be in the right space with catching balls? Can he catch the balls? Does he understand the field? Can he make the calls? Then the stuff after the catch, probably you know what he is.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's fair. Because how many interceptions does he have? Does he have 2?
What did he have? He had 2 last year. Well, no, did he have 3 last year?
Maybe he did. It doesn't.
2 or 3, and then how many did he have as a rookie? He certainly did not have a lot.
No. Loading.
Great podcasting here,
Loading. Loaded. He had 1 forced fumble last year. 2 interceptions. He had 4 as a rookie, so he's at 6. He has a lot more than I thought.
There you go. Turned one of them into a touchdown, of course.
So there you go. You have seen it. I was wondering if we'd actually seen all that much of him with the ball in his hands.
At return for 70 yards, too.
Pretty good.
Yeah. And that's probably something Sean saw on tape and said, let's just see if we can get it. So I like it in a limited role. What do you like? Do you like it?
I just don't. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look at him with the ball in his hands. He doesn't seem like he's a super quick twitch athlete, and that's what you want in a punt return. I mean, he is, but that's not like his strength. Like, he's not Montrell Washington in terms of that stuff. There's a whole bunch of things he has better than Montrell. Like, I think if he were to get himself in position to where there was space in front of him, nobody's going to catch him. Like, he can take advantage of that space. It's just whether he can shake by the first 2, 3, 4 guys. I don't like it. I wouldn't do it off the top of my head, but I might go back and watch and change my mind.
The Broncos had Aqib Talib as kind of their big play punt returner. I don't actually know if they went to him, but they had that.
He returned 1 punt for 1 yard.
Aqib Talib.
Yeah.
So they had him practice in that kind of role. We've seen Emmanuel Sanders do it. There are some great players that do this, maybe not full time, and that's why I think Pat, it would be more so that part-time role. So that's something we're going to keep our eyes on. Maybe not the rest of this week. I don't think they go back to that, but in training camp, we'll certainly keep our eyes on that. I want to know what you guys think.